Welcome to Fan Health. Today, we are joined with Dr. Asta Aluwalia, an expert psychologist and partner at Reboot Wellness, to discuss the topic further.
It's great to have this conversation with all of you because it's very, very relevant.
हम लोग इतना नेगेटिविटी देखते हैं सोशल मीडिया पे, जैसे बात हो रही है. Do you think social media sometimes makes us feel better about ourselves? Can we see it as an outlet that helps us accept ourselves? So, Divyani, would you like to start?
Yeah, so I think as much as social media, like we spoke about all this harmful pressure that it gives one person, but I just think that at the same time, it can also give one a lot of confidence, right? Like I think you start small, but you can generate like a lot of confidence, not because a lot of people are seeing your posts, a lot of people liking what they see, but just generally. I think this started for me like in 2020. I started posting more on my social media, whether it was like my main account or my private account, but just generally posting and like getting that confidence. So I think sometimes that too is a confidence, because sometimes it just takes that one step. It's not exactly like a risk, that one step, like okay, like it's a nice picture, and don't sit and overthink about it and just post that. So I think sometimes that gets you like a lot of confidence, because you are actually admiring your body rather than sitting and overthinking about it. So I think spontaneous decisions at times on social media does help, and at the same time your friends boosting you up is also like a big part of that, because you always need that reassurance, or you always want that love, and that's completely fine. Like it doesn't mean that you're dependent on it, but having some is not bad.
Thank you, Divyani. Rudraksh?
I do think it can spread positivity too, because as the said, the reassurance and the validation some people might require, or they would just feel good if they see good comments and likes on the posts. Or like small things like these can make them feel better, and especially if person, like if someone's commenting on my "you're looking good" or a very small comment, it could just make me feel happier.
Absolutely. I think I agree with that. Amani, is there anything you would like to say?
Yeah, these pages like feminists, and it actually really depends on the type of following, the algorithm that is set for you. Because if you're following stuff that promotes your happiness, your mental health, which is more open, I think it can have a positive impact on you. Whereas if you are following pages that aren't very positive, it can have a negative impact. And I think Rudraksh mentioned that it does make a person feel good when they get likes and comments. Personally, I feel that this whole amount of likes concept is flawed. And I understand that it's needed for business and everything, but I feel like that we as students and we as individuals should not see the amount of likes, because it does make a person anxious. Like it's happened with me that I posted recently, and I was like, why have I gotten less likes than my post before? Is it, I mean, am I not looking good? Am I looking good? It just plays with your head too much.
Absolutely. Astha ji?
So, I've been working with a lot of, like I said, with a lot of young adults, and psychologically speaking, I think it's very important to keep reminding ourselves that social media is not real. Whether it's positively or negatively impacting us, either way, it's not real. Because so there are certain, definitions that we have. Like we say that there are 4 major stressors because of social media. One is the whole highlight reel effect, like how you have highlights in sports. What happens is that people put out their best moments, right? But what we do is that we start comparing our regular or our behind the scene moments to somebody else's best moment. And we forget that the comparison is not real, right? It's like if I'm like Rudraksh, you're a sports person, right? So you understand if you play football and I mean, I'm sure you saw the match last night with Argentina doing as well as they did. And I mean, if you compare that to your own self, that's not a fair comparison, right? And that's what social media does. I cannot compare myself to an influencer or or an actor or whosoever, even if it's somebody else who has the resources and especially if I'm comparing them at my not the best moment, right? So that's one issue with social media, and which we need to remember. The second issue with social media is the whole social currency, what Amani just spoke about, that a lot of the reason why social media has the power to impact us so much, because it becomes a currency for us to exchange, in the sense that when we attribute value to something like likes and comments to make us feel good or bad, that means that we are a product of what is going to happen outside, right? So constantly checking our stories at how many views does it have, how many likes. Like I have, and you guys are like literally half my age. I have people my age, in their late 30s, early 40s, and older, who have told me that, oh, you have certain number of following, so why don't you share our story also and tag us, so that other people see me. So it has become like a social currency, but that has an impact of, that can impact our own sense of identity. It can make us feel good or bad about ourselves based on something which is not even in our control, right? And that's the problem. If I am feeling good or bad about myself based on something which is A, not comparable, and B, not in my control, then I'm constantly fooling myself, and that's not fair to me as a person. The third is FOMO. I mean, you guys, your generation invented this term, but I think it applies to all of us, that we all experience FOMO at some level or the other. That is real social anxiety too, because I mean, I'm not there, I'm not at a party, but then and I, believe it or not, I have also had this, because because of work, I've not been able to attend a particular brunch, or I've not been able to do something. And I have, seen my friends put up pictures, and I'm like, oh shit, I should have been there. And why wasn't I there? And then all of a sudden, the happiness that my work gave me has gone down the dump, because now I'm not happy anymore. What we stop doing is that we stop living in the moment, in our moment, right? We are living in somebody else's moment, and that's not very healthy for us either. And the last, and I think you guys haven't touched upon it, and I would really like your thoughts on it, is the online, harassment that takes place. And Devyani, I'm borrowing this from what you said earlier, and it's so courageous to put yourself out there, and put up posts and put up stories of things that you're doing and things that you're liking. But and I know in private accounts this doesn't happen as much, but almost 73% of people experience some kind of harassment online, if they put themselves out there. And that really, in those micro moments when you've experienced that negativity, that becomes a macro problem. Like that becomes a big problem, because now it's threatening my identity, it's threatening who I am. Like I am not getting validation. I've put myself in a position where where validation from the external environment is so important to me. So I've done that mistake, and now I'm not getting the validation, so I'm feeling not the best about it. So what do you guys think about that, and what do you guys think about the stressors in social media, and how much emphasis we all give it? And I'm not just because you guys are teenagers, but even adults, even us guys, we're no better.
Thank you, Aastha ji. Devyani, would you like to start off?
Yeah, so I think, like you said, like I think it's at different levels. Like both my accounts are private, so I don't think I experienced any strangers coming in like properly bullying me and stuff. But even like not exactly some of my friends are sometimes people just being like, oh, like fatty, or you look so bad, like, oh, all those things, right? Like I mean, it's very general for people to say such things. It's very normal. But at the same time, I think it does get you thinking that, okay, you know what, am I not good looking? But at the same time, you need to realize that, you know what, you are not define your good looks, and you feeling good about yourself is not by what someone else is saying. And I think it would affect me a lot. Sometimes it still does affect me, because you know what, it's like I'm trying, and just because I'm not you don't understand my position. But at the same time, it's just reminding yourself that, you know what, you are trying, you're putting yourself out there. That's more than enough. You don't need some random girl or guy to come and tell you, even if they're not random, to come and tell you that, you know what, you're not looking good. It's based upon you. If you like how you're looking, then no one can come and, like, disturb or upset that. And I think especially with FOMO, I think a lot of us experience that, because especially we're not in school now, right? So it's like it's that whole thing that in school, you'd always meet each other and everything. So I think that FOMO element was a bit less, because you would always interact with people. But now it's like, that one chance you miss of going to meeting a friend, so that one chance where you're not allowed to go. I think that really puts you off. But I think sometimes it's about realizing that it's okay to not go to every function or every party that you have, and it's okay that sometimes it's fine to just, if you feel like staying, just to stay in. Because I think I would get a lot of FOMO before. I would feel like if my friends didn't tell me something, I would always feel like oh my god, I don't know this information, I don't know the latest gossip going around, or I'm the last person to know, or I'm not invited to this event, or my parents don't allow me. But I think with time I've understood that some you don't always get to go everywhere, and not obviously you should go wherever you can go, but it's fine at the same time. And I think I have, like, personally, I have like stricter parents and I'm not usually allowed to go everywhere, and that would affect me a lot. But I think recently I've realized that it's fine to have that alone time with yourself too, and have those moments when you're not there. And I think it's a part of learning and realizing in being alone, which is completely.
Thank you, Divyani. Amani, would you like to put your thoughts across?
So be completely transparent. I'm not very proud of it, but I have been on the other side of this issue where we have, I mean, my friends and I, not intentionally, but we have bullied or talked about other people in a negative way on social media. And I feel that since social media, it's very easy to get away with all of this stuff because you can't do that to someone in real life. You can't go up to someone's face and just say negative stuff and get away with it. Whereas it's very easy on social media, and like how Divyani said, that all of us are so used to it. It's so generalized, and I feel like that's pretty messed up. That how normal it is. I think like all of us must be experiencing this. Like I have a private account, but you get these request box in your Instagram DMs, and I keep getting added to these groups, sexual groups, where they talk about each other's bodies and that what stuff they'll do to other people. And honestly, I find it very uncomfortable, but it's so generalized that, oh yeah, it happens with me every week, it happens with me every day. I have like 10 requests in my DM that it happens. And I think this should be more talked about and more action should be taken against stuff like this.
Thank you, Amani. Rizraksh, would you like to add anything?
Oh, personally, I've felt this too because I'm pretty sure all my friends can vouch for it. I've never been the tallest in the room. So people have bullied me because I've like छोटू बुला के and सब ऐसे कि सबसे छोटा है या छोटू and all these like so like hey shorty why you can stand in front and like you can stand in the start of the line and stuff. So I felt that, and it actually did make me doubt. But that's when I've had those epiphanies where I can be like I've had those realizations where I've felt ki, why do I have to give a damn about what others think of me, and why do I have to let them paint a picture of me when I know and I personally like what I see in the mirror. So I feel that it's at the end of the day, as I said before, it's about you and you liking what you see in the mirror. It's not about how others are portraying you and how they're portraying, how they're painting your picture. It's about you and you just accepting yourself for who you are, and you're accepting that everybody is unique, everybody is distinctive. So you should just accept it.
Thank you, Rizraksh. Asta ji?
So two things that came to mind when I was hearing all of you, speak. One is, I mean, what Amani said, that it's so psychologically, and I'm speaking from a psychological perspective because that's what I practice. It's so psychologically draining and unhealthy to even witness or be aware of the fact that this is what human beings are capable of doing. And I have seen a lot of this happen, and we get cases where there is then the child or children get into depression, or there is self-harm or this or that. And if not that, is just trauma for a very long period of time, and it starts to impact your behavior in very many different ways. So two things came to my mind. One is social media is real. I mean, real as in the sense it is not real, however it is a practice which is real. So how do we make the practice of social media safer for it? That's one. Two, teenagers, even adults are not there, right? So despite all of this, I would, I would still say that a whole majority of people probably are not at that level of awareness and understanding that, okay, this is who I am, and I take myself for who I am, and that's how it's going to be. um, how important it is to surround ourselves with a healthier support system, because the people that we have around, everything is not internal work, despite the fact that we advocate internal work and internal growth and all of that, and self acceptance and all of that, everything is not internal, cannot be done internally, because our external environment does act as a stimuli. It does trigger emotions and thoughts and feelings in us, and it will continue to do so. We can't change that, we can't take it away. So two things: one, how do we make social media safer so that it does not have such an impact on us? And two, how do we ensure that we're better equipped socially to manage all of this?
Right. Amani, do you have any response to that?
So to answer your first question, I feel like a discussion on this should be brought up on a larger scale, because there's power in numbers, of course. And what I would like to remove from social media or add to social media or change about social media is that like system. I think it will lead to a much healthier part, because for me and my peers around me, I feel like it's becoming a little toxic. And I'm sorry, could you repeat your second question?
Second, I was just thinking, I think I sort of stopped up from what you were saying, that everything cannot be internal work. Like even, Rudraksh said that despite the fact that he is aware of, how he looks and how he is, he's accepted himself for who he is. However, can it be always that I am sort of, figuring myself out and putting myself out and accepting myself? Is it not the responsibility of people around me also? And how does that apply to me? Like, what do I need to do, or what do I need to ensure to make myself feel safe, socially safe? Because Rudraksh, I think, spoke about social anxiety as well, right? So how do I make myself feel safe?
Definitely. I mean, I agree that your environment really dictates how you perceive yourself and how you perceive your others. So I feel like you can't really exterminating people out of your life is not a very easy part to go through it. Personally, what I have done is, suppose someone's saying a comment about my body. Now, it's weird how, if I'm close to the person or if I've opened up to the person, I'm fine with them saying it with no hard feelings. But if someone who's not very close to me says the same exact thing, the same words, the same tone, I will feel bad about it. So, I mean, I feel like that surround yourself with people with similar thoughts, surround yourself with positivity, and not open up to everyone about everything. Just have a small circle, and yeah.
Boundaries, basically. Yeah.
Thank you, Amani. Rudraksh, would you like to say anything?
As far as your first question goes, I think our social media is a very big platform, and you cannot control everything. What you can control is you can just spread awareness, maybe like campaigns or anything, to just spread awareness about the impact of like the comments, or the comments you see have on your mental health, and people might be more considerate about your feelings then. And for the second, could you repeat your second question again?
It's about social support.
So
Right.
yeah, that I completely agree with Amani. It's about the people you surround yourself with. And personally, 2 years back, the Rudraksh would take it to the heart if someone says something about him, a third person saying something about him. But I'm pretty sure now, if anyone says, I know if Amani or someone else says something about, I may be a little hurt because she's close to me. But a person, maybe the person I'm meeting for the first time, I won't be affected because they don't know the position I'm in. They don't know my situation. They don't know if maybe I'm suffering from something that is the reason of my height or something, or genetics. They don't know about you. So I'm completely fine with it, because you cannot be bothered by what everyone says, and you need to be emotionally strong, and you need to have that exterior to get past to that. So that's really important. Like the people you surround yourself with, and how much you take to the heart, and that's.
Yes, Astaji, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I just have a follow-up question because what both of you said is so pertinent. Um, and I know that Ria, this is going to be your next question, but I'm just putting it right now because it just seems very relevant. How, so Rudraksh, you said that 2 years back, 3 years back, you were probably not this who you are today. How did you bring about that change? What did you do? I think that's what's very important to know, that how did you come to a space where you are now comfortable with listening to or receiving comments from people and on social media, but at the same time, not letting it impact you as much as it could or can?
I think I just realized my self-worth, and I just realized that people who would actually stay in your life, who you want, like who you are close to, would accept you for who you are. They wouldn't judge you on your height. They wouldn't judge you for if you have acne or if you have a fair skin or whatever that for that matter. They would accept you for who you are. And if people are not accepting, then they're not the ones you want in your life for a long term. They're the ones you should just cut off.
Amani?
Yeah, I have similar views with Rudraksh, but the only difference with him and I is that I don't know why, but I feel like I'm immunized to strangers saying bad stuff or negative stuff. But when a person close to me says it, I'm not affected by it, opposing to what Rudraksh feels. And I feel like that because probably I think they're saying it in good health and not in a negative way. And they're probably saying it so that I can understand and I can make changes to my diet, to my fitness.
Absolutely. Divyani?
Yeah, so okay, I'll start by answering the first two questions. So I think yeah, like Amani said that it does affect me too. Like the whole stranger concept of some stranger coming and saying something to you, because it's like, they don't even know you. They haven't even realized, they still like they see you and they have such a strong opinion about you. So you're like, is that the first impression I give out to people? Is that how I seem when people don't see me? Do they see me as someone that's, probably fat and ugly? So I think that does, affect you because, I think everyone wants to give out a good first impression, and not that, like not in a very toxic way, but just generally, like, as people, you don't want to be perceived as like, oh, she's the fat girl is out here. Like, okay, you know what? Why do you have to even perceive me as some, like, from my body? Just perceive me as my nature. You don't know me, right? Like, why do you have to even perceive anything? Personally, I've had those friends coming and saying stuff to me and me getting affected a lot. But I think I've realized that you need to, like, I think, divide those comments and thoughts into positive and not positive, because the same comment can be in a positive manner and can be in a non-positive manner.
Thank you, Divyani. I think we're running a little low on time, so we'll sort of wrap the session up now. To end the session today, are there any questions you have towards Astaji, Amani, Rudraksh, Divyani? Any questions?
Yeah, so you mentioned that you have identified as people who are self-aware about body positivity and everything else. But I just wanted to ask you that, do you think that it's a good thing to be so self-aware, to have such self-awareness? Because consciously and unconsciously, the moves you make, it's always in your head. What I faced, what issues I faced by being self-aware is that I make a wrong move and I know that I'm making a wrong move, and that affects me even worse, negatively, and 2 times more. So I just want to know your opinions on that.
Amani, that's such a deep and a profound question. Thank you for asking that. Um, so the very fact that you're aware that you're making a wrong move is, see, self-awareness is not a destination. It's a journey. It's going to last you your entire lifetime, right? I am still trying to be aware of myself at my age, and I'm sure someone who's older than me is doing the same thing. It's a lifetime thing. You will keep getting awareness. However, We also need, with self-awareness, there's a lot of need for self-acceptance. We can't stop at just awareness. I can't stop and say that, okay, yeah, I know this is right for me and this is wrong for me, and that's it. I also need to acknowledge that I may not always do the right thing, and that's okay. I'm learning, I'm growing, and I will learn to do better. Eventually, I will come to a space, or have the courage to reflect on, despite knowing better, why did I do this? What was in my head, what was in my heart, what was I thinking, what was I feeling at that point of time when I did something that I was, like, say for example, I made fun of a friend, and then I later realized that no, that's not something that I'm supposed to do. Also, there is a lot of should that comes along with awareness, because awareness comes with some sort of a moral high ground, right? It's not about morality, it is about your journey as a human being, and I think that is most important. If I were to talk about and to give my last comments on this whole topic, one, a reminder that social media is not always real. It's a constant reminder that we all need at all times. It's not real. Because, like I said, it's like a highlight effect. I'm putting out my best moments. Of course, I'm not going to put out like a moment when I'm like in my, not feeling my best. So I'm putting out my best moments, or my most emotional moments, or my most vulnerable moments, or random moments which are comparable to another person's, a different level of a measure, right?
Thank you, Asta ji. And I think with that, we can sort of wrap up today's discussion. Thank you, Asta ji, for coming in and sharing all those insightful thoughts and anecdotes on how we can sort of train ourselves to feel better about ourselves. And Divyani, Amani, and Rudraksh, thank you for taking time out on a Sunday and joining us and sharing your personal experiences for today.
हेल्थ, फिटनेस और पोषण पर पाए बेस्ट डॉक्टर्स की राय सिर्फ famhealth.in पर, और हमारी YouTube पेज माय फैम हेल्थ पर सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें।